Got a question on TikTok about if California landlords have to sign a new lease each year with the rent increase or just send a letter. Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord War on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Now, I kind of run into this situation quite often. A lot of landlords, they're actually like in a panic and they come to me and like, Rob, the lease expires, at the end of the year, I have to, serve, or get the tenants to sign a renewal lease. Well, not necessarily. I got a lot of landlords that will let the lease go month to month, okay? And if you did let the lease go month to month, you're okay, because most lease terms and under the Civil Code, particular Civil Codes 1943, 1944, 1945, basically cover like the presumption of a rental relationship, okay? And what the idea is, if you pay rent monthly, it's going to be presumed, hey, your rent is monthly. And particularly Civil Code 1945, if your tenant stays beyond the lease term, it's presumed that your tenant's going to rent month to month after that, unless there's some other provision in the lease. Okay, so most landlords, you can sit tight. There's no rush to go like get a new lease. Although I do have landlords that update their leases or give renewal leases once a year, and that might be for various reasons, particularly if you're in a rent or eviction controlled area where you're subject to just cause eviction, that type of deal. Okay, so generally, no, you do not have to do a new lease agreement for a rental increase. What would you do if your lease goes month to month, for example, is per Civil Code 827, you have to send a written notice to your tenant telling them that you're increasing their rent, okay? And generally speaking, if a rental increase is under 10%, okay, you only have to give 30 days notice plus 5 days for mailing if you choose to mail that notice, okay? You can serve those notices for residential tenancies either in person, or you can mail them, and you have to add 5 days for mailing. So if you're going to do mailing, just make sure you make your rental increase at least effective 35 days from when you send it, okay, on the next rental period. Most people rent from the 1st to the 30th of the month type deal. So you're going to have to make sure you get those timed out right. So now if you're going to raise the rent, like for example, in March, effective March 1, perfect time to get those things out in the mail. Okay, if you go over 10%, the law under 827 or Civil Code 827 states that for subdivision B for rental residential tenancies, you got to give 90 days notice minimum, plus 5 days for mailing. And that's assuming you can go over 10% under the Tenants Protection Act. Okay, so for many of my landlords who see my videos about the Tenants Protection Act, certain landlords can't raise the rent more than 5% plus the change in CPI. Okay, that changes every year. So you got to make sure you're not subject to the state's Tenants Protection Act or a local rent control ordinance. So many landlords in a place that regulates rents, they may be limited to maximum of 3% or 60% of CPI, whatever is lower. So certain landlords are subject to that. My single family homeowners and properties built after February 1, 1995, you don't have to usually worry about that because of cost of occupants. Thanks for defeating Prop 10 or whatever it was this year. So you have saving grace right there, okay? But your mileage is going to vary. But just be careful about raising the rents. If you're not sure of your locality, if you have rent control, or if you're subject to the Tenants Protection Act, go see a lawyer, okay? So yeah, those are just the general caveats. You don't have to redo a lease, okay? Now, landlords, you got questions, put them down below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you are in the Northern California area, feel free to reach out. I might be able to try to help you out, okay? Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you then. Thanks.